Yeah, sure. Welcome back to Travel Show Live. I am Erik Hastings, and yes, we've saved the best for last, and I'm not being facetious on this. Steve Dasseos is here from TripInsuranceStore.com. Hello, sir. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Erik. Well, yeah, thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and thank you so much for being here on a Sunday. I know you have things going on in your life, but we appreciate it. Now, well, I was going to ask you one question. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to get to that in just a second. The first question I have is that sometimes, and not all the time, sometimes there's a lot of confusion when it comes to purchasing trip insurance. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, yep. In fact, out there in the travel world, there's a lot of things that are commonly called insurance, but they aren't exactly insurance. They're more of a promise to pay. But then there's real travel insurance, and real travel insurance is regulated by all the states. And on top of that, you have people that think they understand insurance, but travel insurance is slightly different from life and health insurance, other insurances, and then on top of that, you just have lots of information, and then people also assume that all plans work exactly the same, but that's usually a big mistake.
Yeah, I was going to say that is very true. You know, I suppose the advent of the internet is kind of a double-edged sword when it comes to information, because don't we know just enough information to actually be dumb about a topic?
Right. In fact, with travel insurance, people always call us and they say, well, can you tell me what it covers? And we say, well, knowing what it covers is good, but it's a lot more important to know what it doesn't cover, because it's those little details in the fine print that tend to cause problems.
Mm-hmm. Is there any differentiator in a brand in terms of this brand is better at this kind of insurance, et cetera?
Well, let's see. I want to know because, probably there's some plans that just aren't worth buying.
Right.
Let's see. Or even if they're free, they wouldn't be worth getting. But let's see. Generally, a travel insurance, there's a couple different kinds. There's what's commonly known as travel health or travel medical insurance. Mm-hmm. That's like if you're going on a mission trip, or maybe you're going to work in some unspecified period of time, you're traveling outside the U.S. Then there's trip cancellation, trip interruption insurance. Like, let's say 2 days before a cruise, you're getting ready to go on your trip and go across the street and get hit by a cement truck.
Right.
Well, the cruise line, they don't care. They're going to keep your money. And the airline, you've got a contract with them, but you won't be there.
Right.
So trip cancellation covers the money you lose if you can't go. But even then, there's some trip cancellation plans are just better or worse than others. And then everyone's trip is slightly different too.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask you, does it have something to do with what you're going to be doing on this trip that varies by policy?
Kind of. Like if someone calls up and says, we're going mountain climbing with ropes, going bungee jumping, then there's a few policies we have that will cover the extreme sports. But if you're not doing that, if you're just doing normal things, flying, taking a cruise, taking like an excursion, maybe you're taking an air tube through a cave or something like that, or snorkeling with dolphins, that's all that is covered. The really exotic stuff, then either there's specialty lines that will cover that, or we just tell people, I wouldn't do that in a developing country.
Right. I was going to say, are there some uninsurable acts of travel?
Yeah, like one thing, people always say, well, is this going to cover me for anything? And I say, well, if you're in the process of committing a crime and you get shot, that's not going to cover you because illegal acts don't cover you.
Right.
A lot of things that also almost all plans exclude while you're, intoxicated. And a lot of people don't realize that. They're out there partying on their trip, they break their leg. Well, if it comes up that came from the effects of alcohol, then it probably isn't covered.
And that is going to come up, by the way.
Yeah, I know it comes up a lot because I always tell people that if you're having a claim, just tell the facts. We encourage people to write a cover letter, but we always say, if something isn't important, don't just bring it up. It's just going to cause you problems.
Right. Yeah, I guess that too much information is another factor, I would imagine. Is travel insurance expensive per se?
Well, it tends to run anywhere from about 4 to 7% of a person's trip cost, and the reason there's a range is because if you're younger, it tends to be cheaper. Mm-hmm. And we have quite a few plans that have children free, so then that of course really pushes down the cost. And then it's the same price for a trip of up to 30 days. Each day beyond 30 days, it costs a little bit. So if you're on a cruise around the world for 105 days, it's going to cost more than if you're just going to Cancun for a week.
Right. That being said, also, I was going to ask you: are there some cruises that you should insure and some you shouldn't even bother?
Well, like for me, let's see. Here I am. I sell travel insurance, but if it was me, if I was just going on a quick trip to Canada or Mexico, I probably wouldn't get it. Because I'm only going across the border. If something bad happens to me, I'll get back to the U.S. pretty quick.
Right.
Now, I don't happen to be on a Medicare. For someone 65 and older, a lot of people don't know that Medicare doesn't cover them once you're outside the U.S. So if you're going on a cruise to Alaska, you think you're in the U.S., but what do you know? You're stopping in Canada, or you're out on a ship out in the ocean,
right.
And you're outside the U.S., so if something bad happens, it's handy to have it. But we pretty much tell people, if you're on your trip and you're going to suffer some financial loss that you don't want to pay, then it's possible to transfer that risk to travel insurance.
And is that relative to cost?
Yeah. Like for instance, if you call us up and you say you're using your frequent flyer miles, flying down to Mexico, and you use points with Marriott, well, the insurance is going to be a lot less because the cost of insurance is based on 3 factors. If your trip is less than 30 days, it's based on your age, on the non-refundable prepaid cost. So if you had frequent flyer miles and Marriott points, you might only have an out-of-pocket cost to say maybe $100 because pretty much all you prepaid was taxes. And so you have the cost, the length of the trip, and then the person's age. That's going to cause the price to be higher or lower.
It's tripinsurancestore.com, correct?
Right. Yep.
Hey, thank you very much, sir.
Okay. All right. Great. When anything else, call us, and honestly, thanks for taking the time to interview me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I got to tell you that trip insurance is a dizzying subject matter. So it's always good to pick up the phone and actually ask some questions. So always happy to have an expert do that. All right. Well, listen.
Okay, great.
That's it. The show's over. Unfortunately, I know you feel bad, but don't panic. My thanks to John, my thanks to Daniel, my thanks to Aaron, thanks to that guy over there with the headphones on, I don't know his name, thanks to Adam, who runs our little operation in the back there. I don't know what he does, but thanks to him as well, Patrick, Gail, and everybody else, all of our guests. I appreciate it. Have a marvelous week. We'll be back here, same time, 5 o'clock on Sunday, here at TravelShowLive.tv. Thanks.